In the super high stakes world of academic research, there's a revolution happening right now. A brand new study is showing us how AI is becoming this absolutely essential tool for scholars. But, and this is a big but, it's also bringing a whole new set of really tricky challenges to the table. So let's get right into it. And this quote right here from the study we're digging into just nails it. It really captures the huge shift we're seeing. See, AI isn't just some little helper tool. No way. It's fundamentally changing the game of how knowledge is made and shared with the world. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at how AI is basically giving researchers superpowers. Then we'll dive into the hype. The numbers are wild. After that, we'll talk about the hidden costs, because it's not all good news. We'll see how it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and then wrap up with, well, where do we go from here? So let's be clear, this isn't just theory. The stuff we're talking about comes straight from a survey of 174 researchers in India and the UAE, people on the front lines of this. And for them, AI isn't some shiny new toy. It's a superpower. It's becoming a core part of how they get their work done. Right, so how big of a deal is this really? I mean, is the hype real? Well, the numbers tell a pretty incredible story. We're talking about a technology that has just exploded from the sidelines right into the middle of academic life. And it happened fast. Let's take a look. Okay, look at this. This is what's so wild. The sheer scale of adoption. If you just do the math here, you've got a whopping 86% of researchers using these tools at least once a week. I mean, think about that. For most academics, using AI has become as normal as checking their email. It's just part of the workflow now. And it's not like they're using random tools either. You can see a sort of standard researcher's toolkit starting to form. I mean, check this out. ChatGPT, 100% of the people surveyed knew about it. That's insane. And then you have your go-tos. Grammarly for writing help, tools like Mendeley and Zotero for citations, and others like ResearchRabbit to find new papers. It's a whole ecosystem. Okay, so they're using it a lot. But what's the actual payoff, right? What's the point? Well, first up, quality. Almost 80% of them, that's 4 out of 5, say these tools are genuinely making their writing better. For technology that's still pretty new, that is a massive vote of confidence. And get this, the second big win is just as huge. It's the exact same number, 79.3%, who say AI is saving them a ton of time on all the boring, routine stuff. And what does that mean? It means they have more time to focus on the things that actually matter, the deep thinking, the analysis, the big ideas. So it's better work, and it's faster. That's the dream, right? So that all sounds pretty amazing, a real game changer. But is it all good news? Well, not exactly. The story definitely doesn't end there, because as people start using these tools more and more, they're also starting to find some pretty serious problems hiding just under the surface. Yeah, it's that classic saying, right? With great power comes, well, a bunch of new headaches. The study makes it really clear that this AI revolution has some hidden costs, some real downsides that we absolutely cannot ignore. And we're not talking about small worries here. These are big deals. Look at this. Data privacy? Over 3/4 of researchers are concerned about it. Then you've got this huge problem of no clear rules from their institutions on how to even use this stuff ethically. And on top of that, there are the practical things, like the fact that the best tools cost money. Plus, the really deep, thorny issues, like algorithmic bias. And maybe most worrying of all, more than half of them admit it's actually hard to know if the AI is even giving them accurate information. Yikes. And here's another really important layer to this. The AI experience isn't the same for everyone, not even close. It really seems to depend on who you are, where you work, what you're studying. It's just not a simple one-size-fits-all kind of tool. This is a perfect example of what I mean. The study looked at 2 countries, right? In India, researchers were all in, using AI a ton in their daily work. But they were also running into more problems with cost and just technical glitches. Meanwhile, researchers in the UAE were a bit more reserved, a little more cautious. Their biggest worry? The potential for bias in what the AI was spinning out. See, same tool, very different experiences. And this difference isn't just between countries. It's even between departments at the same university. Just look at the confidence levels here. You've got folks in social sciences and STEM who are feeling pretty good about using AI. But then you look at medical and health sciences, and they're way more hesitant. They're more worried about how it might affect their own skills, which makes a lot of sense in a field like medicine. Okay, so we've got this really mixed bag, right? On one hand, huge benefits. On the other, some pretty serious risks. So, what do we do about it? The good news is the study doesn't just point out all the problems. It actually gives us a pretty clear roadmap for how to move forward. And it really comes down to four main things. First, we need to get smarter about AI, not just how to click the buttons, but how to actually think critically about what it's telling us. That's AI literacy. Second, institutions need to step up, provide access to the good tools, offer training. Third, and this is huge, we need clear ethical rules for things like who gets credit for the work and how data is protected. And last but not least, the AI companies themselves need to be way more transparent about how their tools work. When you boil it all down, it's really about finding the right balance. The point here isn't to replace human researchers with robots. It's about giving them a tool that handles the grunt work so they can spend their brainpower on the stuff that really matters. The creativity, the critical thinking, the flashes of insight that, only a human can have. Which really leaves us with this massive question about the future of, well, everything. As AI starts writing more and more of our world, our papers, our reports, our code, how do we make sure we're protecting that uniquely human insight? How do we make sure this tool amplifies us instead of replacing us? That's the real challenge ahead.